Hey guys, come on downstairs, bringing another Microsoft Flight Simulator career mode Las Vegas episode to you. We are going to do job number 14. Let's recap job number 13. It was a beast. We flew a fat lady to Mexico, made $11,250, spent $547 on gas, cost us $2,500 when we landed off the runway, but we're just north of $130,000 total. We are flying this Cessna 152. It is a used plane, so we add some wear and tear. It's literally the only thing you can do to simulate wear and tear, and that will add some parasite drag. Okay, so in today's job, we will be heading from North Las Vegas to Boulder, Utah. We're checking out the VORs that we're going to be tracking right here. The BCE one is Bryce Canyon, and the other one is that we were tracking before that is up near Mesquite. Let's get our weights in. I'm 226, and the guy we're taking with us is 195, and we'll get into who he is here in just a second. Add some fuel. Don't want to run out of gas again. We had that issue in job 13, but I think that should be plenty. Okay, so our distance on this one is 207 miles. That's not our plane. That's not our plane. All right, job 14, don't ask, don't tell. Our work order. The police chief of nearby Pahrump, Nevada is paying us to fly him to the remote town of Boulder, Utah to, quote, visit a friend. He's paying in cash, with the only stipulation being that nobody hears about the trip. In other words, don't ask, don't tell. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into our flight. So we're leaving here fairly early in the morning from Las Vegas. Last job we headed south to the border. This time we're heading north into south central Utah. All right, prime it a couple of times. We've got our beacon on. Prop area is clear, I'm assuming. Don't ever assume in real life, but so it's December 29th. 2022, 7 a.m. We're getting an early start to get up into Utah today. We get the remainder of our lights on. Set our takeoff trim. Get our mixture set. Even though we're not above 3,000 feet, we are on the ground and not moving, and we're in Vegas, so it's a somewhat warm day. All right, magneto tests, making sure that we don't lose a whole bunch of RPMs when we switch to each of the two magnetos. And set the transponder to standby. Okay, let's look at those two VORs again and try to set up our navigation instruments. The first one, MMM, is just outside Mesquite, and its frequency is 114.3. We'll plug that in and then switch it from standby to active. And our second VOR station is BCE, which is 112.8. We'll set that in as our standby in Nav1. And that is near Bryce Canyon in Utah. I'm also going to set that one in as an active nav2. And the airport that we are flying to is called Loa Airport. I don't know why. It's not really close to the town of Loa. Not overly close. Maybe it's in the same county. Maybe it's, I don't know. But it's a dirt runway. It is at almost 5,800 feet in elevation. And it's a very remote town, near a very remote town of Boulder, Utah. All right, let's check the weather.
North Las Vegas Airport information, Oscar 1500 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 1 tree. Dew point 10. Altimeter 30.11. ILS runway 12 left and visual runway 12 right in use. Landing and departing runway 25. DFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
Okay, so the wind is calm.
North Las Vegas ground, Cessna Bravo Golf Tree, ready to taxi departure to the east with Papa.
Cessna Bravo Golf Tree taxi to and hold short of runway 25 using taxiway Charlie, cross runway 12 right Charlie, cross runway 12 left Charlie Alpha. Contact tower on 125.7 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 25 via taxiway Charlie cross runway 12 right Charlie cross runway 12 left Charlie Alpha Cessna Bravo Golf Tree.
All right, we got our taxi instructions. And we are ready to go. There is a little bit of cloud coverage today. Looks like some scattered clouds up there. And trying to remember if we've even seen any clouds so far in this series. The weather in Vegas has been super nice the entire time we've been here. But looks like we're seeing some little bit of scattered clouds today. And in our next job, in job number 15, out towards Utah, looks downright overcast. But let's take it one day at a time. And let's worry about this little trip into the Boulder Mountains and the town of Boulder. Taxiing to runway 25. It is on the absolute far east end of the North Las Vegas airport, so it's quite a taxi. I'm going to cut it up for you a little bit. And I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like we've got a helicopter right over my house right now. Just trying to provide a little bit more airport ambiance, you know. Have a real life helicopter. Come by as we're recording this. Okay, let's set the course for our initial VOR. So it was, what was it, 33, I think. And that will get us up, headed towards Mesquite. Transponder reporting altitude. And we already did our magneto test. Back on the ramp. So let's do our run up here. I'm obviously not really following a checklist because I'm all over the place. I really should print out a checklist and start doing it the same way every time. would be a little bit smarter. Okay, mixture back to Rich. We're ready for takeoff. Let's get our clearance. Sitting here thinking if there's any last minute adjustments I need to make. I don't think there is.
North Las Vegas Tower Cessna Bravo Gulftree ready for departure to the east at runway 25.
Cessna Bravo Gulftree, altimeter 30.11, windcom departure to the east approved. Cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25 Cessna Bravo Gulftree.
Okay, we are cleared for takeoff. We're going to be taking off towards the west, and then we're going to make a U-turn and depart to the east. As Utah is just a little bit northeast of Las Vegas, not by far. Runway 25 is a nice runway to take off into these western mountains on the western edge of the Las Vegas Valley. All right, let's roll. We've got a 200-mile job ahead of us. All right, 55 knots, rotate, keep the wings level. Holy cow. So this job, mileage-wise, is almost as long as our trip to Mexico was. But the mayor of this little town is significantly lighter. So I think we're able to have enough fuel on board to get us there.
Cessna Bravo Gulftree, continue for east departure.
North Las Vegas Tower Cessna Bravo Gulftree continue for east departure.
Nice look. Some of the businesses in North Las Vegas that are near the airport. Some residential areas to the east as well. Nice look back at the airport we just took off from. In fact, we took off from that runway and we've come all the way back around where we are now heading to the northeast. Looks like we need to move a little bit to the north to intercept that radial that will guide us towards Mesquite from that VOR, and now it looks like we're there. Come back a little bit. Towards an easterly heading to catch it. All right, we're going to skip ahead.
Bravo Gulftree is type Cessna 152 4 miles north of North Las Vegas, 4,700 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Cessna Bravo Gulftree, Nellis approach. Squawk 0572.
Squawk 0572 Cessna Bravo Gulftree.
Cessna Bravo Gulftree radar. Contact 4 miles north of North Las Vegas, 5,000 feet. Cleared through the Bravo airspace. Maintain on navigation.
Cleared through the Bravo airspace, Cessna Bravo Gulftree.
All right, so we're almost past Nellis Air Force Base, and we're just barely trying to get our clearance. I wish I could do that earlier, but there's no way for me to do it that I know of. All right, look back at Vegas. We're starting to wind down our time here. After today's job, we have 3 left. And then we're going to do a video reveal of area number 2. And we'll do that by flying, actually, from North Las Vegas to our new airport. And when we get to that airport, it will obviously reveal our new area. Kind of excited to start commentating videos from another area. Las Vegas has been a great area though, and we've explored a lot of it, like a lot of the area around here. Basically kind of in like a, I don't know, what's the furthest flight time-wise that we've done? Maybe 4.5, 5 hours. So like a 5-hour radius. It's like take the North Las Vegas airport and go around in a circle, 5-hour radius out from there. We have explored a lot of places in that area. Our first job, we stuck close and just went to Boulder City by Hoover Dam. It was only a 30-mile flight. Just get our feet wet, fly this plane for the first time. Second job, we headed up to Ely, Nevada. Got up to the snow. Had some issues with our compass that we had to learn about. Just about stalled at about 20 feet over the airport. Got a little scary there. Job number 3, we went down to Lake Havasu City. Job number 4, we went to Mesquite, which is the direction we're headed right now. We won't be landing there this time, but we did in job number 4. Job number 5, we stuck close around Lake Mead and flew out to Temple Bar. Job number 6, we went into Death Valley, California. Job number 7, we went to the polygamist town of Colorado City, Arizona. Job number 8, we went to Catalina Island. Job number 9, we went to Baghdad, Arizona, south of Kingman, up in the mountains. Job number 10, we took a fly fisherman to the southern Sierra Nevadas and landed on a grass runway in a meadow. That was pretty cool. Job number 11, we basically just flew around the Las Vegas Valley, probably the most boring of all the jobs that we did. It was Christmas Day, so we just stayed in Vegas, checked out the lights of the city at night. Job number 12, we went to the west rim of the Grand Canyon. Job number 13, we went to Mexico. And job number 14, here we are heading up to Boulder, Utah. Job number 15, we head back into Utah. Job number 16, we head to Kingman, Arizona, which isn't a super long flight. And then job number 17, we take a night flight into Los Angeles. So we're still heading towards the Mesquite VOR. We should be getting fairly close. I think that Mesquite is dead ahead, and we're gonna skip ahead anyway. Here it is. So here's Mesquite. I believe Mesquite on our right. They really should have made the airport up on that plateau.
Los Angeles Center, Cessna Bravo Golf Tree, 9,900 feet.
Cessna Bravo Golf Tree, Los Angeles Center altimeter 30.14. Continue as planned.
Okay. So look down into Mesquite. A lot of golf courses. Great place to go play golf if you're trying to escape the cold weather from northern Utah, Flagstaff area, Flagstaff, Arizona, anywhere in northern Utah. Mesquite is where you go to golf in February. So we're getting past Mesquite, and for a brief stretch here, we go over the corner of Arizona. So as we get up around 10,500 feet, continue to pull back our mixture a little bit as we get less and less oxygen. We're going to start to see the landscape change a little bit. A little slowly. We'll have a little bit less of the terrain right underneath us, and up ahead we're going to start to get into some red rocks of southern Utah, St. George area. There you can see some of the red rocks above St. George. So I think we'll get a pretty good look at the town of St. George as we go across here. We're now tracking the BCE VOR, which was Bryce Canyon VOR, which is a little bit north and east of St. George, kind of towards the backside of Cedar City, those mountains, and a little bit maybe kind of northeast of Zion National Park, which we might be able to see. Also right here. All right, here is a look at St. George. Nice shot of St. George. It's continuing to grow and grow and grow. I thought when we did the trip from Vegas to Colorado City, there was some really pretty areas south of St. George that we went over on our way to Colorado City. This is a really pretty area right here. The sun's not at the most optimal place. To really reflect the colors and stuff. It's kind of washing them out a little bit.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway. 1 approach. Generic. 1 Hotel Charlie.
So there's St. George below us. And if you look, there's a plateau with a runway on it. That is the old St. George Airport. It is no longer functioning as an airport. The new one is out east of the city. But that old airport in St. George was on a plateau basically right over the top of the downtown area of the city. It was such a cool airport to fly into. I've flown into it a couple of times with my uncle in real life, and I've flown into it a billion times in like Flight Simulator 2004 and stuff when it was still functioning, still operating. But man, it was such an awesome airport to fly into, especially from the north, because you'd come down over this mountain. I can't remember what this mountain's called to our left, but you come down over this mountain and everything is kind of green and you know, foresty, and then all of a sudden you hit the red rocks and then that plateau, and the city is just awesome. So cool. There was a look at the new airport there if you were able to catch it. It was a brief one. So we're crossing over the top of St. George, and we're basically looks like we're gonna come to the left of Zion National Park. Zion National Park is kind of straight ahead of us and off to our right a little bit. So we're not going to go right over the top of Zion National Park, but we can see it from here. It's just off the left side of our dash. Dash just covered it, and now it's coming down. Right side of the dash, I mean. There, right over the right side of the dash. Those mountains right there, those peaks, that is Zion National Park right there. If we turn left and go up that freeway right there, we'll get to Cedar City. But we're going to stay on this track because we are headed straight to the Bryce Canyon VOR. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. Now you're seeing Zion National Park off to the right. There you go. There's a good look at it. Right under our plane. We're off to the left of it. And again, the sun is kind of washing it out. It's not the best visibility or best time of day. But that just underneath our plane on the screen, that is all Zion National Park. And as we get a little bit further towards the Bryce Canyon VOR, we're going to lose a little bit of the red rock look. Like as we get beyond the Bryce Canyon VOR, we'll lose some of the red rock look. More of the rock structure, or more of the color will be kind of grayish yellow, grayish yellowish white, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Back behind us was Kolob Canyon, I believe, that's off of Cedar City. It's a nice little lake below us. So we're starting to get into some of this mountainous type area that we didn't have right around Vegas. But at the same time, it's a little bit different than the Sierra Nevadas that we went to. So, little unique terrain. It's a nice shot. We're starting to get into some elevations where there's snow, and there very well could be snow on the ground in Boulder, Utah. There's snow quite often around Bryce Canyon. But I think this is just the second time in this area so far that we've run into snow. The first one was in Ely, Nevada. There was some snow on the ground. I can't remember if I guess there was some snow up above us in the Sierra Nevadas that we didn't really make it to. We turned around because we had already reached our destination. So this might effectively be the second time that we've gotten into the snow. So far we've only experienced just some scattered clouds at altitude. We haven't had to deal with flying through any.
169er is passing flight level tree 80 climbing. Flight level tree 80. Spirit Wings 169er Los Angeles Center. Continue to HOLDM as planned.
So we are still being followed by Los Angeles Center. I would imagine somewhere soon we get into Salt Lake Center. And maybe this is it right here. Maybe not. So our current heading is pretty much straight northeast. So pretty much like 45 degrees to the northeast. And one of the reasons that I picked Vegas in December was because of the weather. I wasn't super used to flying this little Cessna, and for one thing, the Cessna is really not supposed to be flown in weather. So I wanted to find an area that would give us the best chance to have the most good weather days. We're a little bit more comfortable in the Cessna now. So if we do experience some weather, we're going to give it a go. We're going to push ourselves. Something we would absolutely never do in real life. You would never mess with that in real life. But since it's a game, we're gonna since we're not actually risking anybody's life, we're just risking some imaginary money, we're definitely going to push the boundaries and actually not even push them, we're actually going to cross the boundaries of what the Cessna should do as far as flying in weather. Shouldn't be flying it in the clouds at all. I mean, even in a flight like this, I should avoid clouds. You know, I should avoid even flying through a simple small cloud if I can in this plane. But we're gonna fly this thing into some straight, nasty, overcast, wild situations. And that's basically gonna start in our next job, because we get hit with some weather. So enjoy this nice calm. So far this is a nice calm job, calm episode. Everything's gone smoothly because it's all going to hit the fan in job number 15 when we start to make some purposely bad decisions. In order to complete some of these jobs. Alright, we're getting further and further up into south central Utah. In fact, Boulder, it might not even be considered south central anymore. It might just be considered central central. It's like center of the state vertically, center of the state horizontally, pretty dang close. Might be a little bit to the south vertically, but it's pretty close to the center of the state horizontally. I guess I should say longitudinally and latitudinally. I'm not going to get that technical. Not yet, anyways. Alright, we're still heading towards Bryce Canyon. VOR should be off to our left a little ways. It looks like we're just to the right of that line, and we should be getting close to it. I don't know if we actually see it. I think we're a little ways off. Oh, yeah, right here, we just passed it. So we just passed the VOR off to the right of it. So Bryce Canyon is off towards the left somewhere. And we may be a little ways away. So, but now that we have passed the Bryce Canyon VOR, we're going to, I think, take a look down at our VOR2 and start tracking away from it at a different radial, I think. Unless I've got it backwards. Maybe the VOR1 was the different radial. I think that's probably what it is. So we were tracking VOR2 to get to the Bryce Canyon VOR, or NAV2 to get to the Bryce Canyon VOR. And then we had that same frequency set up in our NAV1 with a different radial, and now we're tracking that away from the Bryce Canyon VOR. And we need to try to stay on this line best we can if we're going to find this airport, because it might not be the easiest airport to find. It's a little grass airstrip up on a ridge above the town of Boulder, and it's not huge.
Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 269er at tree. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature -4C, dew point 10C, altimeter tree 027.
Okay, so we're just checking the weather at Bryce Canyon.
Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 269er at tree. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear.
Because this Loa Airport in Boulder is not going to give us any weather information, so Bryce Canyon might be the closest. And so we can maybe Escalante Regional, maybe. But I think our best bet is to get the Bryce Canyon weather information and go by that. Obviously, it could be doing something different in Boulder than in Bryce Canyon, but at least Bryce Canyon is going to give us a little bit of an idea of what kind of weather we might face. So I want to say the Boulder Mountains are straight ahead. I don't think it's necessarily the Plateau Mountain right there. I think it's more to the left, to the north of that one. So it's not really that plateau, but it's more of that rounded one that you can see in the distance. I believe that is Boulder Mountain. Boulder Mountain's awesome. It's a cool area. There's lots of little lakes, lots of ATV trails, lots of wildlife, very few people. It's really it's fairly remote, and not a lot of people in Utah know about it or realize how cool it is down in that area around Boulder and Torrey. And it was one of my favorite areas in Utah to go to. My wife and I went there a couple years after we were married, and we drove down at
Kilo
night.
Lima Oscar Alpha Traffic Cessna Bravo Golf Tree 29er miles west 12,200 feet inbound to land runway tree 1.
Okay, so we're 29 miles to the west and inbound to land on runway 31. Skip ahead a little bit. So now we're starting to see some of the landscape around the Boulder Mountains. Like I was saying, my wife and I went into Torrey, which is on the north side of the Boulder Mountain. The city of Boulder is on the south side of the mountain. We went into Torrey on the north side, and we left Salt Lake after she got off work one day. So we drove down late at night, and there was a road, and I'm not even joking, like it was maybe 1 a.m. There was a road that went, I can't even remember what highway it was, but it went over this mountain pass. We didn't see a single other car, not one, not a single car. And it was probably about a half-hour drive, maybe a 45-minute drive because of the speed we had to go. We literally had to drive like 10 miles an hour because the entire drive we were dodging rabbits and raccoons and deer and foxes and coyotes and you name it, man. It was like Wild Kingdom on that road. And you think it's an exaggeration, but it is not. Like, we had to go 10 miles an hour because every 30 seconds something else would dart across the road in front of us, another animal of some sort. Like, I would not have been surprised. Like, I would not have been surprised if we saw like a black bear. I probably would have been like, oh yeah, of course there would be a black bear. Let's top it all. How about Sasquatch? Let's just have Sasquatch run in front of us. Like, we couldn't believe it. We were laughing so hard at how many animals. I mean, we probably dodged 500 rabbits, and I mean, when there's that many rabbits and you're driving a car, like, yeah, we maybe hit 10. Like, we maybe ran over 10 rabbits, but we missed like 490, so it was unreal. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It was nuts. And it wasn't just rabbits. Like, we saw raccoons, we saw like badgers, we saw deer, foxes, coyotes, like, you freaking name it, man. We saw everything on that, over that mountain pass. It was just like they were letting them out one after another and telling them to just run across the road like it was all staged. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. So that was around this region. That was a little bit north of where we're going to be flying into here. So a little bit ago we were 29 miles away. We're probably getting pretty close. So look down. There's a little town there. That might actually be Loa, the town of Loa, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. But there is a little town. I mean, Loa is probably the biggest town in that area. That's where their hospital would be. They probably can't do a ton of that hospital. If there's anything serious, they're going to life flight you to Salt Lake, which is still a little ways away. So, but there, straight ahead is the Boulder Mountain area. Boulder Mountains right there. Like the top of them. And we are coming into this area, trying to find a little grass runway, trying to stay on our radial, which it looks like we're on. And I think think we're probably feeling like we're pretty close to. We're going to cut some engine, maybe start dropping some altitude. As we drop some altitude, we might be able to see a little bit more. Start to drop some altitude, change our mixture. I may have already located the runway when I did this flight, but I have not seen it so far in the video. So if I did locate it, it was while I was yammering about the animals on the road, and I didn't notice it, or I cut it out somehow. So I think we're just trying to slow down, get a little bit lower, because it is in this vicinity. Some of these dirt runways, grass runways, can be extremely difficult to find. For one, a lot of them, and we talked about this in the Sierra Nevada Job 10 in Las Vegas a few jobs back. A lot of them can be mistaken for dirt roads.
Kilo Lima Oscar Alpha Traffic Cessna Bravo Golf Tree 4 miles south 10,800 feet inbound to land runway tree 1.
Alright, so we are very close, 4 miles to the south. So we are basically heading right at it, but we are pretty high. I think the elevation of the airport was 5,800 feet, and we are at over 10,000. So we're going to cut some engines here. Maybe put out some flaps would be a good idea. Okay, I believe I see the runway out the left window right there. It's that little dirt runway right there. And we have got to drop an absolute ton of altitude. So I don't believe we're going to fly straight in. I think we'll probably enter a traffic pattern a little bit high and then try to get our altitude down, if I remember right. If it was an emergency situation, you probably could, in this plane, land straight in right here. Just kill the throttle all the way down. Open up your flaps. They should help slow you down a little bit. Now that we're getting this close, we would maybe be pushing it, but it looks like we're going to basically do an upwind leg of a traffic pattern at a very high altitude, probably about 3,000 feet higher than we should actually do the traffic pattern at. But we'll go ahead and enter the traffic pattern from above and circle around. We will be landing going this direction though, towards the north, or I guess that's the west, the northwest a little bit. Alright, we're down around 8,500 feet. The airport is at 5,800 feet. So, not too much more to go. Speed is at 60 knots, which is about what we want it to be at when we cross the threshold of the runway. Pretty sure at this point I've got flaps extended, but I did not hear it. But yeah, to be dropping this much altitude and only be going 50 knots right now, I'm guessing we are fully extended flaps. Okay. Crosswind leg at 8,000 feet. So we're still about 1,000 feet higher than we want to be. Alright, let's turn into the downwind leg. We've got to drop some elevation faster than this. Okay, so we got a ways to go here on our downwind leg. Obviously with the dirt runway, we're not going to have any instruments to help line us up with the runway. But it's a nice clear day, so all is well. Alright, we're down to 7,700 feet. About 1,900 feet above runway level. When we get onto final, I'd like to be somewhere around 7,000 feet. Or a little bit less. But it looks like we might be a little bit above that. Alright, we're going to turn on to base. We're at 7,500 feet. Drop at about 600 feet per minute. We need to crank that down. Now we're dropping about 1,000 feet per minute, 900 feet per minute. And we are on straightaway final. Approaching 7,100 feet. There is plenty of runway. We don't need to land right at the front of this runway. Pretty decent runway length here. And we are down under 7,000 feet. Try to trim up a little bit. We don't want to hit the ground going 500, descending at a rate of 500 feet per minute. I'd like to hit the ground at less than 200 feet per minute if I can. Which means we got a flare. Oh, hit a little bit hard. And we flared at the last second. And that maybe saved us from bouncing. And if it was a hard runway, if it was a pavement runway, we might have bounced. Anyway, but the little flare saved us from bouncing on this dirt. It was just a little bit late. So we still had some of that momentum from our vertical speed rate that we hit with. So it was a pretty hard landing, but we didn't bounce. So all is good. All right, guys. Yeah, this is the middle of nowhere. The Boulder Mountains. What does this guy want up in the Boulder Mountains? No idea. We didn't ask him. He didn't tell us. Don't ask, don't tell. However, I know one thing. Several years ago, there was a massive DEA raid of a huge marijuana farm in this region. So, who knows? He's paying us, and we're not going to ask any questions. We got him here. Now whatever he does here is on him. I'm hoping that these kind of landings in these areas make me want to get a bush plane sooner than later. So hopefully, I don't know that the bush plane will be our next one, because let's face it, a bush plane with our pay system is not going to be overly profitable, because flights are going to be shorter and we're still only carrying one person. They won't be as profitable, but they will be fun. But I think our next plane needs to be something that can maybe boost our profits a little bit more. Maybe has 3 or 4 seats in it. Okay guys, Loa Airport. Again, I'm not sure why it's called Loa Airport. I would call it Boulder Airport, because Boulder City is right near us. Hey, look, there's a car. Maybe that's the guy. Nope, he kept driving. Maybe he's gonna circle around. He's just waiting for this guy's plane to leave so they can get whatever business they have done. Okay, beautiful area. Look at that, man. You can see some buildings out in those fields out that way. That is basically the town of Boulder. Okay, job 14, don't ask, don't tell. We started with $130,477. We earned $10,350. 41.4 gallons of gas cost $496.80. We're going to end our day of December 29th with $140,330.40 going into job 15. So fairly similar job to the one in Mexico with a heck of a lot less headache. All right, that's it for job 14. Up next, we'll be heading back into southern Utah on Microsoft Flight Simulator Career Mode Las Vegas on Mama's Basement.